What's up, witches? Okay, my Yeti is not showing. Can you hear me? I will wait to hear if you can hear me. I guess I can find out by just doing this. Can y'all hear me? I don't really want to reboot. Yay! Okay, you can hear me. Goody. Goody, goody, goody. Okay, welcome, witches. What is up? I'm so glad you decided to join me tonight. Hello, Stephanie. Hello, Samantha, my love. Hello, Jake. I'm so glad to see you. So glad to see you. Thank you. Thank you. I found the trick with my hair. I have to dry it when it's like super wet rather than letting it dry a little bit. So, and it ain't just my hair. I decided to put on the dog tonight, eyelashes and all. Been watching too many TikTok, people, and it's like, oh, she's pretty ordinary looking, and then they put the makeup on and you go, damn! So I thought, I'm going to let out my inner goddess tonight, and what the hell. So, happy spring. Where I am, if you're not coming, hello, Tavia, yay! I just made some coffee like 2 minutes before airtime. If you are watching me from out of the country, so I'm looking to see if Marcy checks in tonight because she is in South America. I can't remember the country. I'm so sorry, Mars. But I may be coming to you an hour earlier than usual, but not really. We just fucked with our clocks last weekend, so... But it's nice because it just got dark at 8 o'clock. And it was 69 degrees here in Kent today. It's going to be 70 degrees tomorrow and Friday. And I saw a meme go by on Facebook that said, it's warm and sunny out. I'm no longer mentally ill. And that felt really right. My earring is hanging backwards, y'all. Come on. Oh, cooperate with me, darling, please. What? Yeah, I turn you around and then it turns back round again. And I'm spinning the bottom part. Darling. That side's sort of behaving, but... Anyhow. Coffee. Oops. Coffee, lots of decks, lots to do. Another ambitious night I have planned. And, yay, I see somebody hit that like button already. That makes me so happy. It makes me feel good, It was a beautiful sunset. I saw, was looking out in the woods, and there were these really fuzzy pink clouds. Fuzzy pale pink against the blue sky. So beautiful. You're a crappy corn. I like winter too, although my favorite is fall. But I don't mind winter. It just happens to be the worst time of year for my SAD. It's not the worst time of year for my allergies or the worst time of year for other ailments that I have, but I just like the changing of the seasons. And so that's why I chose the subject tonight of just readings certainly for the full moon tomorrow night, but also the changing of the seasons. Hello, Radha. Welcome, dear. Cast its design in 3. Oh. What? I don't understand, Sam, darling. Oh, well, anyway. It's the changing that's wonderful. I could never live in a place that doesn't have seasons. It would drive me nuts. So, it's like being, officially retired. Thank God I have my channel to give some structure to my week, but our motto around here is every day is Saturday, when you're retired. So, and somebody talked about, a friend of mine who recently retired said something about hating the time change. And I said, Peh! What is daylight savings time to the retired? But she has chickens, and they get her up at the same time every day, no matter what the clock says. So she's having to get up. Hello, baby Joe. Yay, I'm so glad to see you, dear. Yeah, no kidding. The time change sucks so bad. Oh, the earrings. I see. I getcha. Yep, it is what it is. It's the silver one. This will be the new moon one. Or maybe that's the full moon one and this is the new moon. Maybe I hung them in the wrong ears. I mean, how can they be the wrong ears? They're my ears. Anyway. Sherry, welcome. I'm so glad you made it. Oh, there's something spiritual about every place on the planet. I just don't want to live there. Desert, I can't. I can't do it. I need wet and I need humid. Even though in the summer the humidity kicks my ass and the heat kicks my ass, but you know, desert is absolutely gorgeous. The mountains are gorgeous. Montana is one of my favorite states. It just, big sky. It's fabulous. Thank you, Baby Joe. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, every place has beauty. And, you know, the thing is, it snowed, was it over the weekend? I can't remember. And I saw, you know, people on Facebook, I hate this. I'm so pissed off. And it's like, okay. To one of them I replied, as Trungpa Rinpoche said, there's no cure for hot and cold. It's this whole attachment aversion thing. And also, you know, the old thing about if you hate the snow, you will have less joy in your life and still the same amount of snow. And the thing is, you know, are you really going to get angry about the weather? You can't do a thing about it. So why get pissed off? So I enjoy all of the seasons. I feel better in some than others, but I enjoy them all, and that's why I could never live any place but a temperate zone. Anyhow, let's get a roll in here, because I could just, you know, babble on forever. Anyway, I want to start with the full moon chart. Since I haven't been shooting chart readings, and I apologize for that. I swear to God I'm working on getting it back together, but I'm going to stop making promises. I'm just going to stop. You get what you get. Anyway, let me share my screen with you, because I really want you to see this chart. It is something else. Let me get me the hell out of the way, and that the hell out of the way. No, that. Out of the way. There we go. Look at this chart. Oh, you guys, wait. I'm bringing myself in here again. I miss me when I'm gone. Okay, so just get a load of this chart, folks. It has a kite, obviously. And that is, there's a yod, which means there's an opposition with the moon, which of course is the full moon. And then the planet that the moon is opposing, there's a sextile to either side, and it makes a thing called a kite. And there's, you know, I would have to look it up because it's something that is so rarely seen that I just don't keep that in my head. In fact, no, I don't have a kite. I think I have a yod. Anyway, so a kite is also a yod. It's just this thing with two sextiles coming out. The aspects involved are, and there's also two trines. So we have the opposition, and of course an opposition sets up conflict externally. And every time we have a full moon, our energies are kind of pulled external, and it creates tension, you know, between our self-expression, our emotional reactions, our actions and reactions are sort of pulling in tension, and it creates a lot of energy to be released. Then we have trines coming off the sides, and then we have the planet that's being opposed by the moon. There are the sextiles coming off of that. So one opposition generating a lot of energy, and then two trines generating flow, and two sextiles, which stand for opportunity. So let's look at what's involved. And this is the first time I've looked at this chart. I pulled it up, I saw the kite and went, holy shit, but I didn't really look at it. So I'm going to look at it now, and I'm going to look at it where it's big for me. So the Pisces Virgo moon opposition. Moon in Virgo makes our reactions very critical. We get hypercritical about things. We want things to be just so. And so we tend to respond to the tension of this full moon with just fussiness, you know, fussiness and being a little bit critical and stuff like that. These are mutable signs. So we are in the mutable sign of Pisces. Every season ends with a mutable sign. Mutable signs represent change. They are adaptable, versatile, changeable. The end of the seasons, where we're seeing every season in a day sometimes here in Northeast Ohio. So we are at this point of change, and it's at 27 degrees, so it's at the tail end of the sign. We hit the equinox, I believe, on Saturday, the 20th, if that's Saturday. 17, 18, 19, 20, that's Sunday. Anyhow, no, it's Saturday. Wait. Stop guessing. Grab the frickin' calendar. All right. Full moon is Friday. Sunday the 20th, yes, is the equinox. The sun enters Aries at 11:33 a.m. in the Eastern time zone. So, yeah, spring's a coming in on Sunday. So we're experiencing all these shifts and changes. The moon is trining Pluto, which gives us the ability to easily transform emotional energy. Easily. And with the moon in Virgo, it's in a specific way, having specific feelings about specific things, knowing exactly what we want to do and how we want to feel. And that trine to Pluto really gives us the ability to transform those in a practical way. Then we have the moon trining the North Node in Taurus, more practicality. So here we have a grand trine, a grand Earth trine, also part of the Yod here. Okay, interestingly, wow, God, just so much going on, and the symmetry of it is absolutely glorious. I mean, there's just everything is symmetrical. It's kind of blowing my mind. So the moon trining the North Node says that emotionally we are ready to move forward in a practical way. We are ready to take concrete, practical, down-to-earth steps, things that I can measure. Earth signs are things, you know, Taurus especially, give me something I can measure, something I can put my hand to. All right. And of course, this WOD in Pisces, Sun, Jupiter, Neptune in Pisces, and now we have Mercury in Pisces as well, coming up to the center of Pisces. All this Piscean energy, there is so much connection and compassion and sympathy and empathy going on. You know, looking at things from a global perspective. We've got Uranus squaring Venus, which can make for pretty exciting times, exciting romantic times, if you're in the market. The sextiles here, the sun is sextiling the North Node, and it's also sextiling Pluto. So we've got that North Node Pluto connection by trine as well. Again, just ripe for transformation. So what's culminating on this full moon? Something's about to transform, and we're being given a very balanced energy field here in which to do it. The Aquarian WOD with Mars, Venus, and Saturn in Aquarius, all of these things, our actions, our motivations, our affections, our values, our responsibilities and duties, karmically. We want things to change. It's time for things to change for humanity's sake in Aquarius, for humanity's sake. And then the one little oddball here is Chiron sitting in Aries. So, oh my God. So the woundedness we're dealing with here is the woundedness that comes from war. Aries, the god of war. So, yeah. We are looking at how we are wounded, and it is sextiling. Chiron is sextiling Mars. So this woundedness, this martial, what do I want to say? Words are failing me. Just our warmongering, this warlike place we've been for thousands of years is ripening for transformation. All right, I'm going to let that go because we have so much more to talk about. But holy shit, what a chart. I may have to shoot a video. I may just have to shoot a separate video for that. And I'm going to close my astrology software because... Goodbye. Bye. Because my computer is struggling lately. Oh, let's take you off of that display. And let's go here. There we go. We're back. All right, let me catch up with messages here. Pisces stellium hyper-focused on bullshit, our own self-undoings. Well, that's not a stellium. A stellium is 3 planets within 7 degrees of each other, or at least these two and these two. You know, these have to be conjunct, these have to be conjunct. Too wide. It's a wad in Pisces is what I call it. So, yes, the wad in Pisces is also making us come to reckoning with our addictions and where we lose ourselves and our aberrations and our weirdnesses and the shit that we want to hide from ourselves. So absolutely, Jake, you're totally right on with that. Yes, I heartily agree. Needing to balance with the Virgo energy, bring it down to earth, bring it into specifics. Pisces is nebulous. Pisces is fog. It's just, oh yeah, whatever, go with the flow. Specifics, oh maybe, you know, something that I vibe with. Virgos, no, I want it this color. I want it this way. Very specific. Thank you, Jake. That's very, very, very good. Probably bad time to get drunk. Yeah, so let's just mention St. Patrick's Day, the holiday that's largely an American excuse to go get drunk and put racial slurs on the Irish. So I'm not even talking about that tonight because it's just it's not worthy of time. But yes, I agree. Bad time to go out and get drunk. And it's one of the times when the amateurs are out getting drunk. So New Year's Eve, St. Patrick's Day, those are times that for decades now I do not go out ever. Samantha, yeah, wow, gave me goosebumps too. Normally have trouble. I couldn't sleep last night for shit. Chiron's at 11 degrees. That's Aquarius. Oh, interesting. So what happens when you get past 12? What will happen? The ruler of Chiron, Aries, Mars hits Saturn and get you. Well, yeah. I mean, and Tavia messaged me right before airtime tonight to say that The Hague is now involved. And there was a video that I shared today of Putin. Somebody made a compilation of Putin holding his hand out to people that refuse to shake his hand, and he gets this little this look. He doesn't. I mean, it really looks like he's confused. Why don't they want to shake my hand? He's a narcissist. He can't understand how people don't like him. Can't understand it. And somebody said, oh, maybe he needs a hug. And I was going to say they'll give him a hug in The Hague. And then Tavia says The Hague's involved around his war crimes and saying that it must stop. The invasion must stop now. So thank God. I mean, something's got to change, right? We can only sit for so long and watch these atrocities before something blows. So, we cannot let him hold us hostage any longer. We'll see what happens. Okay. So, decks tonight. Well, first of all, let me introduce the decks and then we'll do a little thing. The first one that came up in my mind last night was Daughters of the Moon. And it's like, why do I not reach for this deck very often anymore? I don't know why. So I reached for it because it's tucked away. Then we have Celtic Messages. Man, that box is heavy. There's a lot of books and shit in there. Then we have the Druid Craft Tarot, which may end up being the first deck that I actually trim because it's such a whopper. It's a chunchy boy. Then we have, this is the bag they live in, the Sacred Circle Tarot. And I grabbed for the Pagan Ways first, which is the second deck by this author. And then it's like, no, I want the original. So we went for the original Sacred Circle deck. So there's our 3 tarots, the Daughters of the Moon, the Druid Craft, and the Sacred Circle. And then I want to use these 2 together. We have the Dark Mirror, because I think it's about time that we really look at what is coming up for us to transform. What are we confronting in the shadow? And then we have the Queen of the Moon Oracle. And like I said, I want to use those 2 together and see what happens. So let's play. But first, let's find the flame. Find the flame with the match. Find the flame. There we go. I can't see. It's like I know you're in there. All right. So light up your sage if you got it. or your juniper or your cedar or whatever you have. And I offer you this cleansing of air and fire. May you be purified and charged. And by water and earth, may you be blessed and made whole. All right. And then by spirit, may we be connected and united. And lifted up. May we realize our true nature. So mote it be. Did I put my flipping candle out with my match? And it's already liquidy, so this is going to be fun. Okay, come on, darling. I did it. I done it. That could have been disastrous. But I done it. All right. More coffee. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to give you the ASMR. All right, so I'm not going to use the Astro Dice tonight because we looked at the chart briefly. Yes, I love the Dark Mirror as well. Nope, we're going to leave it right the way it is. So, I want to start with Daughters of the Moon. And the decks that I interviewed and asked what they wanted to talk about, I took the card that they gave me and flipped it over and put it on the bottom. If I do a reading like late at night or something that I want to ponder on and there's no place to like leave it out, I will take the reading, put it together in order and put it face two so I don't lose it in the deck. So when I asked this deck what it wanted to talk to us about, it gave me the card of the Sibyl. Hold up a minute. Guides and guardians, allies and ancestors, thank you so much for being here. I offer you this fresh water and I offer you this fire of Azrael. Please help my mind to be clear. You know, at a Virgo moon, you'd think I'd be organized as hell. Not so much. Let me give all of the decks a little sip here. Chunchy decks, chunchy decks. Okay. And you two, come here. Come here. All right. Okay. So, hello, Tavia. Hello, darling. Okay, so the One of Blades is what we have here. So it's an ace. It's the Ace of Swords. It talks about truth, holding up the sword of truth. So the Sibyl is the symbol on here, and the Sibyls were the ones, you see her sitting on this stool, and they would sit in this cave on a stool that was over a crack in the earth, and these sulfurous fumes, these fumes came up, and they breathed the fumes, which put them in an altered state, as you can well imagine. And then they would give their prophecies, and they had people that wrote it down. They were called the Pythia, the Pythoness. So here's the Sibyl. You see the python just twining around her arm, and you see the fumes coming up. So this is talking about the telling of truth, speaking truth to power, speaking your truth, you know. And what we've got going on here, you know, I'm going to try to stay away from politics as much as I can, but you know, it's the state of our world. We are collectively dealing with this karma. So how can I not talk about it? But I will do my best to bring it to you personally and give you something to relate to in this, you know, in these big collective energies. Marcy, you made it! Yay! I'm so happy. I'm so happy to see you. Welcome, darling. Welcome, Capricorn Moon. Yay! You made it, honey. I'm so glad. Yay. All right. So, Marcy, those of you that aren't in the U.S. doing this nonsense of daylight savings, the Senate today voted unanimously to do away with daylight savings, to make actually daylight savings time that we're on now, rather than standard time, the time that we're on all year long, which makes sense. So now it has to pass the House and pass President Biden. And please, dear God, let's just be done with these shenanigans. Why do we have to put ourselves into chaos? And there are parts, I don't know whether it's the whole state of Indiana or part of the state of Indiana, it just doesn't do it at all. They don't change at all. So it's just fucked up and stupid, and we need to stop. All right. So back to the Sibyl, where she wants to talk to us about the truth that we need to tell, about speaking. It's about speaking, not just about knowing the truth, but speaking the truth. Here's what I need to say about this. So let's ask the deck. Now I'm going to put her back in to see if she comes out, but now we are going to ask, what do you want to tell us about truth-telling? Please give me 3 cards. What is it you would like to tell me? Okay. There's 1, there's 2. Oh, well, hella. That's a little bit too much, but I think I'll take it out of this chunk. Tell me which one of you wants to come out of this chunk. You know what? No. Do the whole deck. It's easier. Another one, please. May I have another? Please, sir. May I have another? May I have some more? Please, oh, please. There we go. And we've got 2. We have the wise one. And we have strength. And look at strength is upside down, yo. Let's look at what we got here. So, Jake, you were saying you're a little intimidated by round decks. Don't be. Really don't be. You know, if you're really an either or, upright or reverse type person, the only thing that a round deck does is give you more nuance. So if you have something exactly reversed like this, it's a reverse meaning. If you have it leaning this way, it says something's being held back, you know, almost to the point of stopping. If it's leaning forward like this, the energies are being pushed. So you know, you can just add that nuance. Don't be intimidated. They're wonderful. Hello, Owl Knight. Welcome. All right. So what do we have to do? So we've had the Sibyl, and now here's the wise one. Macha is the name that's coming in my mind. She's the nightmare. She's the one. And, you know, think about in the middle of the night when your conscious mind is asleep, is when truths from your own life can come up, or at least fears from your life can come up, and they need to be dealt with. So the wise one is going to tell us what we need to do. We need to listen to that deep voice inside. The strength card upside down is, to me, saying we need to revise our idea of what strength means. And strength to me is these people, these Ukrainians that are turning around at the border and going back home. And the Ukrainians, and strength is Zelensky in his office in Kyiv going, here I am, come at me, bro. Here I stand. You know, what was that? Alan, what's his name? It was in Sweeney Todd. What, you going to kill me, boy? Here I stand. So anyway, revising our idea of strength. Strength isn't force. It's not about force. It's about being able to tame the impulses that are inside of us and deal with those impulses without acting them out. Over here we have 3 of Cups. Okay, this is fascinating. You'll see when I go further. 3 of Cups has been coming up all over the place today. The meaning that's given on this card is bonding. And over here we have the Two of Pentacles, the Bull Leapers, balance, bonding and balance. So the message that the Sibyl is giving us here is that we are, I think globally, we are bonding with each other on a level that we haven't before. We are confronting what real strength looks like. Strength versus power. Power in our world has a very specific meaning, and it is power over. Strength is from within. So we're changing this paradigm from power over to power with, and realizing that when the masses of Earth stand up together and we have power with, what can shout us down? I mean, brute force can always, but does it really win? You know? And this card, Three of Cups, too, talks about an accord, something coming together, an agreement, a cause for celebration, something finally working and coming together. And then we've got the Bull Leapers with balance, Two of Pentacles on a practical level. But look at, so the Two of Pentacles is normally, you know, like walking a tightrope, the one person. But look at the tightrope they're walking here is this fucking gigantic bull. What would you give to have seen this? To have seen these women run to a bull, grab the horns, and vault over its back? What would you give? But it does talk about balancing things on a practical level. Certainly we had Biden signing an $800 million funding for Ukraine. The world is responding in ways we've never seen before. We are really revising our idea of strength, and wisdom is taking over now. The wise woman here, and look at, you know, look at her riding in the night. We are being shown I want to cry. We're being shown the darkest. We are seeing the darkness for what it is with our own eyes. And when I did the readings on Monday, and Tavia reached out to me again and said, you know, that Heron card, talking about an addition to the family when I was reading on Putin, and the baby bunnies coming out when I was reading on Zelensky. It's like, what's all this baby stuff? What's it? And, well, first of all, spring. You know, it's talking about spring. But it can also be just the optics and the things that are playing on these very soft emotions that we have under all of this Pisces influence. Pisces is about the underdog. You know, we look, we have sympathy, we can feel together. So that image of the very pregnant woman, pale, on the stretcher, her pelvis shattered, she and her baby later died, that image on its own should be enough to turn this tide, in my book. Should be enough to turn this tide. So we're seeing the night, and the wise one is saying it's time to look. It's time to take the blinders off and really look. See it, name it, and then we decide. But we need to decide with true strength, and not, and that's what we're doing. You know, Biden, rather than unilaterally coming out and being a bully like Trump would have been, he has gathered people together. He has made alliances and strengthened alliances like we haven't seen in a very, very long time. So this event is really ripping that curtain away and allowing us to see. And the Sibyl says it's time to start calling it what it is. Talk, talk, talk. You know, no more sweeping under the rug. Okay. Let's see who's coming up next. The little red die. Let me get caught up here. Hi, Becca. Hey, baby. Jake, I also have the Mother Peace deck. I'm not as fond of it. The images are, the style of the art doesn't really, you know, trip my trigger. Daughters of the Moon was the second round deck that ever came out, and that one really does it for me. Okay. True, drinking being bad right now with the Three of Cups. So the Three of Cups was being held back. And you see, I don't really read reverses. But the Three of Cups was talking about being held back. It's not yet time for celebration, but we are finding ways to bond with each other. We are finding agreement. And then the Two of Pentacles was pushed forward. So we are really being assertive with the practical steps that we're taking in order to bring balance, in order to not be behaving unilaterally. We're behaving in a very practical and balanced way and taking measured steps forward. And that one was leaning forward. So that's what I would look at with that. See, I don't think of Pisces energy as being heavy. It's cloudy, it's foggy, it's smoky and confusing, but I don't think of it as heavy. Interesting. Maybe I've got a Pisces moon. Okay, and the second deck is the Daughters of the Moon, so let's ask it again. Who's next? Ooh, 3. Thank you. Thank you, little die. That means the Druid craft. And when I asked the Druid craft what it wanted to talk to us about, it gave me 5 of Pentacles. So it wants to talk to us about the losses that we're experiencing. The sense of loss. And my God, is this across the board in this planet? We've got, loss of life from COVID. We've got loss of trust in government, in the economy. We've got people, loss of financial stability. We've got loss of climate stability. So much loss. There's been so much loss. And the 5 of Pentacles, can talk about just in the physical, the material. Whoopsie, there they went. But let's broaden it and say just loss on a practical level. Okay. We have Queen of Cups. Talking about stable emotions, talking about, trust in emotions, talking about really trusting our intuition and our emotions. And then we have the 7 of Pentacles. Harvesting, waiting for harvest, waiting for things to come to fruition. He's cutting some mistletoe up here. So that's where I go to kind of the harvest thing, but it's still about waiting until things have ripened. And over here we have the Tower. Whoo boy. Yes, and things are breaking down. So as this karma is ripening, it's manifesting in conflict and things breaking down. It's like when loss of paradigms, right on, Samantha? It's like when you're raising children and they're, particularly when they're really young, toddlers and such, and you figure out the routine, how to get things together, how to make things work, and everything goes along swimmingly for a while. And then suddenly it all starts getting fraught again. And you're like, what the fuck? Why isn't this working? We had a great routine. Why doesn't it work anymore? Well, it doesn't work anymore because the kid has moved on. Because the kid has grown. They're entering a new developmental stage. And we are still parenting the 2-year-old when we now need to be parenting the 2.5-year-old, the 3-year-old. As the child gains skills, they're going to challenge the structure that's been put up. And so how we see that things are internally changing and going through a transformation is things start to break down, right? The system starts to break down. So as we're confronting transformation here, we're looking at what is falling apart. This is a good thing. We are becoming more in touch with our emotions, from the Me Too movement to the Black Lives Matter movement. Look at everything that's happened in just the last 5 or 6 years. In a big way, things that have been festering for a long time have have been, and social media has helped this. Everything is coming out into the open with lightning speed. Bang. Lightning speed. People are being made and ruined in a heartbeat with social media. But what it's doing is helping us to feel, helping us to identify our feelings, and to give a shit about what other groups of people are going through that we may not be experiencing. So Queen of Cups says we're really maturing emotionally in how we are able to regard others and to understand what others are going through. And the Seven of Pentacles here says we are reaping. Something is ripening. Karma is ripening. It's time to harvest. It's time to collect the fruits of what we have sown. We are collecting them, and the transformation is beginning with breakdowns coming just off the top here. Then we have the Seven of Cups. Look at all the sevens coming up, you guys. And we have the Prince of Pentacles. Is the Prince in? Yes, he must be a knight. He's on a horse. So, the Seven of Cups talking about, you look at both of these, talk about sort of waiting to see what's going to happen. Seven of Cups is saying, all right, what are we going to do with all this? The possibilities are starting to come up. We're in that place of, well, we know we don't want that, but what is it that can take its place? So Seven of Cups is imagining, and I hope that it's also talking about us having the courage to dream big enough for the change that we need. Prince of Pentacles is the slow-moving knight. He's the knight that doesn't go anywhere. So he is about absolute practicality. Let's sit tight and make decisions based on what makes the most sense. And then at the end we have Nine of Pentacles. Interesting, because she came out when when the Five of Pentacles came out, she came out too, and I stuck her back in the deck. Well, she wants to be seen. She wants to be seen. She talks about independence. All right. I'm gonna mull this over. I'm gonna catch up with messages here. All right, we're talking about Pisces and stuff. I think I'm gonna keep going with this, and then I will catch up. Wait, let me see. No, I'm gonna read. Sorry. Pisces scary is that it's deceptive. That's true. That's very true, Jake. Very, very true. You can't see it because you're in it. You don't. It's. Does a fish know it's underwater? Yeah, you're in it. That does make Pisces stuff scary. I guess it's not scary to me because it's kind of where I live. But you're right. It's, it can cause. I remember my astrology teacher describing Neptune and going nasty, finky, rotten, icky. Neptune can cause the worst problems of all. Okay. Whereas Saturn, you see it coming and refuse to deal with it. Right. Well, and with Saturn, you get a choice. You can delay. You can deny and delay. With Neptune, you get a choice, but you will be called to sacrifice nonetheless. It's like with Saturn. Saturn is no such thing as a free lunch. You get what you pay for. Pisces and Neptune is you pay and pay and pay, and you don't get. It's sacrifice, where we are called to sacrifice. So that's the other thing with this Pisces energy. We are going to be called into sacrifice. I was talking about this last week. We're going to be called to sacrifice. Lifestyles. There's a lot that's on the table here that needs to be offered up. That's another Neptunian Pisces thing. Okay. Deep and without boundaries. And yes. If you're comfortable merging, yes, absolutely. Pisces feels like home. Pisces is boundaryless. Pisces is unity and oneness with the universe, with your own spirit. Yes, absolutely. Unity. Lots of paradigms. All right. Well, let's say that people, if you're okay with a loss of control. So, for instance, I do shamanic practice, and I am always going for the ecstatic. I want to step out of the bounds of my physical life, and I want to be in union with things. I have no problem with giving over control and going into trance state and the ecstatic state and just letting her rip. Come on, spirit, come on in and take the wheel, But if you're uncomfortable with that, Pisces and Neptune can be very, very, very scary. Yes. Heaven or hell? Absolutely. Absolutely, Jake. Okay, the Queen is stepping in to help awaken our skills and talents so that we can finish tearing the tower down and build a new one up. Yep. Okay. Tower is Mars, Chiron and Aries. Wonder what will happen. Mars and Aquarius will conjunct. Yep, I know. We'll find out, won't we? Transition before birth, breath, deep pause, and voila! Yep. Okay, Neptune's about releasing even the constructs of heaven and hell. Yeah, absolutely true, Samantha. It really does call on us to give up everything familiar and just go into the unknown. All right, so this Nine of Pentacles down at the bottom talks about independence. And, wow, independence, kind of like Ukraine had, you know? And so other countries, I'm sure, that have kind of bowed down to Putin and thought, well, this guy can help us out, are maybe thinking twice about some things. We're going to see some other things unfolding, just going on intuition. We're going to see some other things unfolding in some other countries that are now kind of stuck on his side and are thinking twice. But the Nine of Pentacles also talks about shoring up your boundaries. You see the wall here, having a place that's safe. So this can also talk about boundaries around the airspace, what Zelensky has been begging for. It also talks about us shoring up our own homes, looking at what we need to do. Start asking yourself, and gosh, we've been asking ourselves this for years now, what would happen if the economy tanked? What would happen if I couldn't afford to live here anymore? What would happen if? And my God, I'm looking at all the shit that I need to get rid of. And now at this point, I don't care where it goes. Just get it out. Get the fuck out of here. Downsize, downsize. Be about your business. Take care of your garden. Look at how you will take care of your family, you know. The Ukrainians are showing us what happens when your family is under fire and what you have to do, you know, to take care of them, what choices you have to make for your own independence. The sacrifices they're making for independence. So we have choices to make. And on a personal level, we really need to think about, you know, there but for the grace of Goddess go we. And we're still not out of trouble. You know, we're not out of trouble. I dread the midterms. I dread the next presidential election. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen? But we'll find out. You know, we certainly have big question marks. Okay. All right. This deck, I forget how beautiful this deck is, and I don't reach for it because it is so giant and chunky. But damn, it's beautiful. Okay. Who's up next? Don't go on the floor. 5. All right. 5 is Queen of the Moon. So we're going to take Dark Moon and Queen of the Moon and see what happens here. Dark Moon would not give me. I tried to interview it and it wouldn't tell me. So I set it aside. All right, Dark Moon. Tell me what it is specifically, the shadow that we are dealing with collectively. Okay. We've got bird in a cage. Ooh. Okay, we've got 4. I want to do this. Triumph of Lies. Fragmentation. All right. So, Triumph of Lies. No explanation needed there. We are dealing with all the ways that we are now so much more easily lied to. There was a thing I read, and I do want to bring this up. This will be easy for me to find. Heather Cox Richardson, I've talked about her before. If you do not follow her on Facebook, please do. She, okay, what the fuck here? No doning. The fuck. She All right, hang on. I thought this was going to be easy. There we go. She does an essay almost every night, and they are deeply insightful and incredibly informed. She's an historian and a wonderful writer. And she put her essay up last night. And here's the paragraph I want to read to you. The attack on democracy at home. Hold on, I just lost it. Here we go. The attack on democracy at home is not being as clearly condemned. We are starting to see the effects of Russian money on our own political system. Today we learned that Russian oligarch Andrei Muravyev has been indicted by a federal grand jury for funneling $1 million in political donations through Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman, associates of Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani, to candidates in the 2018 election. A $50,000 donation apparently went to a political action committee called Friends of Ron DeSantis Political Action Committee in June 2018. After DeSantis won the election, Muravyev and his partner texted congratulations to Parnas and Fruman on victory in Florida. Today, the Republican National Committee sued its own email vendor, Salesforce, to try to block it from responding to a subpoena from the House Select Committee to investigate the January 6 attack on the U.S. Capitol. The committee subpoenaed information about fundraising emails sent by Salesforce, soliciting money by lying that the 2020 election had been stolen. The committee is interested in seeing if any of that money actually went to the causes for which it was solicited, and in following how those emails with their false inflammatory messages encouraged the attack on January 6th. The RNC says it is suing in order to protect the constitutional rights of the Republican Party and its millions of supporters. So, chiseling away at the dark money. Chiseling away at the dark money. So here we go. The triumph, we've had the triumph of lies. And let me look up Bird in a Cage here. I mean, certainly we are, I don't have to look it up. It's talking about the golden handcuffs of living in the U.S. It's talking about the structures that we've created and how they keep us caged, hemmed in. Then we've got fragmentation over here. Okay, hold on just a second. La 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 la. And I don't know if I'm going to take all of these cards. Tomorrow will be the right moment. Tomorrow will be better even if today is hell. Did she die waiting for the perfect day, or were we never alive? Okay. This is denial. Denial. And then fragmentation. You know, with fragmentation, I'm also thinking of compartmentalization. When rage is projected inward, destruction joins confusion, and we break. Think of the tower that was just over here. Fragmentation. Things are breaking down. Fated to suffer and envious gluttony. All right, I'm going to put these aside because I want to come here. I'm remembering what I said I was going to do now. All right. Oh, okay. So, release. Give me one for Bird in a Cage. I'm going to start combining decks more because it's something that I've never really done, and I don't know why with all these damn decks that I have. All right. Okay, give me two more, please. Can I have two more? Well, let's look at the one that we do have. So, we have the lies that are keeping us caged, that are keeping us from the truth, that are keeping our culture and our society, our global society, from having a true conversation because it's so much false information and it is fragmenting us. What I have here from the Queen of the Moon is release. This is waning crescent, so we need to release. I want more. You're telling me to take them off the top. Release, surrender, Dorothy, that's a Piscean word, and purity, which can also be a Piscean word. Release, surrender, purity. The purity comes under fragmentation. Do these line up at all? What do you think, guys? I mean, release and surrender. There's a lot that we're not going to be able to redeem. There's a lot about our culture. I need to close the window because it's getting a little chilly on my feet. We need to release the need to argue with people in our personal lives, on the internet, whatever, with people whose brains have been scrambled by these lies. So that just has to be released. We need to move on, just go on by them. There's so much that we just can't fix. You can't change somebody's mind for them, you know? And when you have people that are operating out of a belief system and that is based in fear, you're not going to get anywhere. You're just not going to get anywhere. So we need to release the need to change them in any way. Go on past them. Bird in a cage, surrender. Okay. So this is telling me that the circumstances we're in when we're feeling helpless, hopeless, and there's nothing I can do, that we kind of need to surrender that need as well and find how we can work within the confines of where we are. When I'm not all powerful, what do? I've got to surrender to the conditions that I'm under. And what this means to me, and I don't know if there's a card in here of acceptance I want to see, because then I'll dig deeper. But there is a card for acceptance. So surrender isn't so much acceptance. I'm going to look this up because I want to figure the difference here and the nuance. Surrendering doesn't mean giving up. Let go of what you no longer need. Stop being so stubborn about holding on to aspects and behaviors that don't align with who you are now. Stop struggling. I let go. I surrender my struggle. I allow the universe to work through me. So surrender kind of has an idea of somebody else is, this is beyond me. Acceptance is kind of like just coming to terms with the way things are. It says, okay, I recognize the way things are. I'm going to be realistic about it. I see this. I accept it. Surrender says, this is beyond me, And so you surrender and allow something else to work through. Took me a long time to realize surrendering was a positive thing. Don't get me wrong, I don't mean giving up kind of surrender. I mean the, okay, it's time for me to hand this over type of surrender. So this is talking about recognizing where we actually, in fact, do not have personal power and allowing something else to take over. So this means handing it over to spirit, handing over all these emotions that we're having, all of the grief we're experiencing, we experience it, but then we hand it to spirit. And on a practical level, we look at the organizations and things that are in place that do have power in this particular global situation, and we say we're going to allow them to do their work, and perhaps we can look at ways that we can support that work. Then we have fragmentation and purity. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to look both of these up. That's quite a pair. So fragmentation, it was talking about rage being projected inward. So this is really talking about the need to reckon with the energies, to feel the depth and the power of the things that we're feeling, whether it's frustration and helplessness, hopelessness, depression, grief, even hope. Just looking at how we can move those things through without turning them in on ourselves without carrying too much of a burden. Losing a sense of self is a crescendo of noise, a decrescendo of pain, and a prelude to nothingness. Wow. So talking about things fragmenting, a prelude to nothingness, and surrendering the pieces. Let these pieces go away and look at how I can purify, take myself into a purified state, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. How can I surrender the pieces of my shattered hope, of my shattered sense of security and stability? I surrender those to Spirit, and I will purify in the moment. Work with keeping myself in the present moment, being in the energy, in my feelings without judgment, purifying my mind in that way. Also, you know, when we are taking in so much information, looking at where we need to stop and purify our thoughts, purify our minds, come back to my reality in this moment. When we're looking at the tragedy and the horror. Hello, Mama. Hello, Grandma. The moon is up there shining through my window right now. So when we're dealing with all of these horrors, we have to stop every once in a while, come back into our lives, into this moment, and sit down and say, what's happening with me right now? I am here. I am safe. I am fed. I am loved. I have resources. And purify our energies in that way so that we can then move on and face what we need to face and be able to handle and make decisions. Does that make sense? I feel it. I feel like it does. There's all, and look at this. This is the mutable signs, you guys. Talking about the changing seasons. Release, surrender, let it go. Time for winter to go away. Let it go. And the whole thing about, is it going to snow? Is the weather going to be good? Just fucking surrender that. You have no control over it. Surrender. I surrender it to you, and I will purify myself to where I will be able to feel happiness no matter what's going on around me. I will be able to feel love and peace inside me no matter what's going on around. That's the purify part. And I really like the concept of surrendering. I'm looking at this cage breaking apart, but surrendering those fragments. And surrender means that I am willing to be in a place of not knowing what's coming next. I'm willing to be in that void of not knowing. Right? Okay. All right. I think that worked. But oi, it's heavy times. And it sounds like my iTunes is screaming at me to sign in. Fuck you, iTunes. I'm not in the store. I'm in my frickin' library. All right. Anyway, I can control that. All right. Who's up next? Let me catch up. Let me catch up. Okay. Lost paradigms, doing heaven or hell, the queen is stepping in, the tower's Mars, blah, blah, voila. I just saw Release the Kraken. Let me see here. Calla Lily, hello, darling. I'm so glad you're here. Fragmentation, lies are no longer triumphing. Their power is fragmenting. Yes, absolutely. We're breaking out of the cage. Perfect, Samantha. Absolutely fucking perfect. The lies are splintering. This cage that is built of lies is cracking and splintering and falling apart. There's that Tower card again. Release the Kraken. Yeah. Well, the Kraken is at work, you guys, on the Trump administration. The fact that the RNC is suing to keep them from getting their emails. Okay, but their emails. Come on, you guys. You know about handing over emails. Yeah, the fearmongers. Absolutely. Stephen Miller, Steve Bannon. Yep. I'm not kidding, Kala. Release the Kraken on him. Fuck yes. Yep. All right. Who's up next? Okay, Daughters of the Moon keeps coming up. Yep, and that, we've done that one. No, we've done that one. Give me another one. I suppose, okay, 4. Well, I just have to grab the ones we haven't done. We have Sacred Circle. And here, I asked what it wanted to talk about. 6 of Swords, 3 of Cups, da-da-da. Solace, Resolution, and the High Priest. So the High Priest comes in here as the structure of things, the structure of government, the structure. Hello, Johanny. Yay, darling. I'm so glad you are here. Yeah, the void. Honey, we all have issues with uncertainty. It's the human condition. We want to know for sure. There's a quote by, I can't remember, was it Byron? T.S. Eliot, I don't remember, talking about, they called it negative capability. And it's the ability to be in doubt and uncertainty without any strenuous grasping after answers. I'm paraphrasing there. But basically without freaking out. And if you can learn how to do that, which is like the whole bedrock of Buddhism, is learning how to deal with your monkey mind and be where you are without, I want to be sure. You know, we all have trouble with certainty, so don't think you're flawed in that way. We are all flawed in that way. Okay. 6 of Swords here says solace. And 6 of Swords in general talks about moving through troubled waters, navigating through, getting to a place of some certainty or at least some kind of resolution. Are we still hot? We're still hot. Okay. All right. So solace is take comfort, take heart. You know, things are moving. We will get somewhere, you know, and just to, you know, to rip that solace away from you, there is never, ever, ever going to be a time in anyone's life where everything is taken care of and there will never be another problem. There's never going to be that time. That's the nature of life. So take solace in the fact, though, that you can find peace moment by moment. You can find it in yourself moment by moment, regardless of what's going on. It's kind of like, you know, the whole meditation practice. Meditation is great when the phone doesn't ring and the temperature is just right. But the point of meditation is being a practice. The reason it's a practice, we practice so that when everything is flying to shit all around us, we can still find that place. That place becomes so familiar to us that when all hell is breaking loose, we can go, okay, where's that place in me? I can still find it. So that's the solace, that things are moving forward. And the resolution, the 3 of Cups here is resolution. And I think the resolution, I mean, on a global scale, resolution, talking about the resolutions that countries are making, the one that Biden signed today, that The Hague is getting involved. The world is coming together. 3 of Cups talks about coming together on an emotional basis. And the High Priest is, because the structure, you know, we do have a structure of alliances. And we need to come together to look at how we want to move forward and alter the structure and shore it up and make it work for everyone. Grounding and opposition. Okay, solace and resolution. Solace and resolution, grounding. 5 of Wands comes in here. Grounding, really? Is this a thought style deck? I think it is. I don't know. But interesting, I never think of wands as grounding. But the 5 of Wands here, talking about grounding our energies in the practical. We move forward and we come to resolution when we are grounded in the practical. And also grounded in the creative, because this is Wands. In the creative and in the inspired, in how we work together. I mean, 5 of Wands in a regular deck talks about things going at cross purposes and uncoordinated, but this is saying ground all that energy that dynamic energy. 5 is an odd number, and odd numbers have dynamic energy. So it needs to come into a practical thing. And the 2 of Swords, resolution, and the High Priest, we have opposition. Well, obviously we're going to come into oppositions. We're going to come into places where, you know, culturally we don't agree, politically we don't agree, and let's find how we deal with that opposition. You know, sometimes the resolutions that we want to see are not going to work with the structures that we're already working in. Ooh, shit. So we have resolution, and then we have discord. This is saying just the reminder that there's more to come. I was saying this last week. Things are going to get worse before they get better. More breakdown is coming, and we need it to break down. We really need it to. I'm going to take some more on this. Let me catch up. 6 of Swords, like Martin Luther King Jr. quote, you don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first couple steps up. Absolutely. Absolutely. Negative capability. Yeah. Which Shakespeare. Yes, 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 yes. It's funny because that quote, I learned that in my Shakespeare class. It's in an essay that was in the book that we studied. So that's where it came from. To accept uncertainties, mysteries, doubts without any irritable reaching after fact and reason. Thank you, my love. That's exactly the quote. Any irritable reaching after fact and reason. And what's the antithesis of fact and reason? All this Piscean energy. Pisces Neptune is not about facts and reason. It's about the irrational. It's about divine madness. Pisces is about divine madness. And that's, you know, the wisdom of God is madness to the people of the world. The wisdom of the world is madness before the face of God. That's a quote from A Dance of Universal Peace. So people like in spiritual ecstasy look like they've gone mad when they've surrendered all the structure, all of this, you know, it can look like we've gone mad. All right, John Keats. Yes, it's Keats. Thank you, darling. Absolutely. And I'm going Byron, T.S. Eliot, you know, Keats. Second time 3 of Cups came out. Yep. Place of calm. Honey, I have not done daily meditation for more than a year now. My practice fell apart when my adrenals crashed, and with everything going on, you know, we get there when we can. It's okay. That's part of surrender too. Just saying it's okay to be where I am. You know, when we're dissatisfied, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. First of all, don't shit all over yourself. But it's like, it's okay, surrender. This is what you're doing. This is where you are, and it's okay. Surrender. That's the heart of surrender there. Okay. Yep. Thanks for the validation on the grounding and 5 of Wands, Samantha. See, this is the way I really appreciate the keywords on these cards. Life is a permanent struggle. Yeah, absolutely. Every day. It all depends on how you look at it, too. 2 of Swords joining your head and your heart. Okay. And this is, I believe, a Thoth-based deck. I'm sure these keywords would go along with the Thoth deck because they are very different than the WS decks. Okay, discord. Hierophant made some very serious decisions. Yeah, true. Absolutely true on a granular and collective level. Absolutely true, Jake. Okay, discord. Tell me more about this. Adventure, movement. Look at the knights. The Knight of Wands and the Knight of Cups coming out. Things are moving, and it's an adventure. So, you know, let's talk about surrender again. When you go on a quest and an adventure, you surrender control. I don't know what's going to happen, and you open yourself to anything. So when you surrender that kind of control, you kind of automatically open to whatever may come, what dreams may come, what events may come. So this is also talking to us, and the only major here is the High Priest. Look at this, opposition, discord. So yeah, Jake, talking about these, you know, these structures kind of breaking down again. Solace, grounding, discord, movement, and adventure. Materialism. Okay. That's kind of out of left field. But I think I'm just going to stop with the Knights there. That this is our oh my God, this is our grand adventure. This is the grand adventure of our lifetimes. My lifetime. Those of us that are, sporting their silverbacks here. Those of us that grew up in grade school being taught how to hide under our desks in case the bomb goes up. I had a dear friend who had a fabulous band that he called The Bomb. And it was about, that fear and the trauma that we went through as grade school kids of duck and cover because of bomb, the atom bomb, and watching those mushroom cloud videos and shit. We've been traumatized by it. And now what's coming to fruition here is this whole question of nuclear energy and nuclear power. And if we look at it as an adventure, if we ground ourselves in this mindset, in this paradigm of adventure, then we really do have movement. And movement emotionally. The Knight of Cups over here says we change emotionally. This is a reframe. Rather than catastrophe, we can look at this as a big adventure. Things are finally changing. Y'all, things are finally changing. And politically in our world, things are so complex that they don't change until they have to. Historically, and personally, we tend not to go through big sweeping change until we are pushed to it, until we're forced to it, till the back is against the wall and I don't have any other choice. And boy, do we get creative then, right? So, looking at it as a grand adventure and looking at, materialism coming up in the center, that's another thing that is coming up for fragmentation and dissolution and surrender, right? So the discord here, if we look at this discord as the energy of adventure, that we're not going to agree with each other, but we can move through this adventure being open-minded, keeping our minds open to each other, open to possibilities, open to the change, like that Seven of Cups that was here in the beginning from the Druid craft. And then we have movement. The emotions start to move. We're not stuck. They're telling me one more. Imagination. Imagination. You've heard me say countless times that we suffer some of the, one of the biggest reasons we're in the predicament that we're in globally is just a supreme lack of imagination. We can't do it that way. We have to do it the way we've always done it. That's the Hierophant. Dogma. But this is the way it works. This is the way we've done it. Who says? We say. Okay. So imagination, adventure, movement. I take solace in that. All right. Ooh, I like this deck. I've forgotten how much I like this deck. I haven't used it in a while, but boy, she do talk. All right. Ooh, here comes another one. Death. All by itself. I'm not going to take any more on that because it says that, yes, endings are coming. Endings are coming, and any kind of death, any kind of ending involves a grief process, so we need to be prepared for it as well. There will be more death. Okay, I have to. Sorry. The Wheel and the Knight of Pentacles. Husbandry. So Knight of Pentacles coming up again. The Wheel of Fortune says, yes, as we grind forward here, as this moves forward, we are going to be dealing with death on a mass scale. I've seen photographs of mass grave trenches being dug in Ukraine because they're under bombardment, they can't bury people properly. It's fucking tragic. And the Knight of Discs, husbandry. That to me talks about guiding with skilled hands. That we need all of the skilled hands and the people that have imagination and have those kind of skills in order to move us forward. Oof. Okay. Catching up. Let's see. Don't change without a fight, that's for sure. Fine line between anger and arrogance. Yep. Arrogance and self-combustion. Yeah. Well, and I agree, there's a fine line. And that kind of arrogance, that narcissistic arrogance, you're right. Anger is just below the surface, because when they don't get the kind of adulation, the kind of recognition, when people don't value them the way they value themselves, then anger is the first manipulative tool. Yeah. What you resist persists, absolutely. Yep. Persist in seeking solutions. We've got to get very imaginative, visualizing the world we want. And, it's such a complex thing. To visualize peace is one thing, but to visualize the structure of what that peace would look like is another. Samantha, it's wonderful. Visualizing the world we want. Let the anger open up and deliver information. Raise up your blade, focus your flame, send it out, make your aim true. Right on. The reading on Monday said that Putin is not sick, that he's, maybe he's in a lot of pain, but I think it's more political than physical with him. I think he's mentally ill. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, I think being a narcissist, I think he believes that he's immortal. So, all right. Well, I mean, the death card, he's coming to an end. His regime is coming to an end one way or another. But that the reading I did was saying, no, he's coming out of this alive. And I really hope he does. Now that the Hague's involved, oh yes, please stay alive. Please stay alive. Because if he checks out now, I mean, he's going to hit that karma head on in spirit, but he needs to pay for it here. That's my feeling. Okay. That's true. Every generation has had to do this. And, we think, oh, well, we're never going back there, but then the generations die. And the generations come up that are ignoring history and don't know what it's like to confront those things. So every generation, these are the cosmic, karmic energies that we have to confront. Okay. What do we got left here? We've got the Celtic Messages. And when I asked them what they wanted to talk about, the first thing that came out was Mabon, Divine Child, Liberation, and then Sacred Grove, which says sanctuary, solitude, and spirituality. And just the two words of liberation and sanctuary are so appropriate for what's happening right now. The liberation of Ukraine, the liberation of resources. What the hell's going on with that card? And sanctuary, safe places, places for the refugees to go. Liberation of our own minds, liberation of our imaginations, so that we can imagine something far better and bigger, something that's beyond, working within the system, that bird in a cage thing, that we need to be able to think outside that cage and outside that box. Because the box has been fucked up. It's been bastardized. It's being fucked with in our country politically. That box being how we do our democracy, how we do our elections and stuff. This stuff is breaking down too. Okay. Whoops, what do we have? The Boar. And that says ferocity and assertiveness. All right, so now I'm going to go, and I'm not doing reversey energies here. Ear of Corn, harvest accomplishment. The Swan is grace under pressure and serenity. And boy, that came up exactly upside down, so maybe I will consider that. We've got Taliesin, romance and originality. The Poet. We have the Hearthfire, family support and nourishment. And then finally, we have the Crow. A new start, clearing the ground. All right. Springtime reading. So, harvest and accomplishment. I'm looking down the lines here. Romance and originality. Using that imagination again. Wait, hold on. I'm going to get out of the thread that we've been in and see where I can go with this. Ferocity and assertiveness. So in our own lives here, there is in the Tara practice, the green Tara practice. She has an aspect, because you know the zero, Tara and the Tarot, it is said that she is the origin of the major arcana of the Tarot. And where if you look where Tarot came from, with you're talking through Eastern Europe, that stuff traveled from the Orient, traveled from India. And Tara has her root aspect, which is green Tara, and then she has 21 other emanations, the Fool and the 21 major arcana, right? And she has an emanation that is called Ferocious Compassion. Think about that for a second. Every mother knows exactly what that means, and father too. Every parent, it's not to be sexist here, every parent knows immediately what Ferocious Compassion means. It means that when your kid is running out in the street, you don't say, "Oh, honey, think about that. Come here. Let me think." You say, "Get back here." You scream at them and you grab them and you yank them out of the street, right? It's ferocious. Rah! The kid needs to feel, and it comes out of fear and panic and alarm, but there's ferocity there that gets the point across. So how does that jive with compassion? Pulling your kid out of the street out of compassion. I don't want my child to be hurt. That's ferocious compassion. And in life in general, it's about not suffering fools gladly, because it's like you've got some karma that you're going to be facing here, and out of compassion for you, it would suck to be you when this comes down the pike. So I'm going to tell you what I need to tell you. Let's go back to the Sibyl in the beginning. I'm going to say what I need to say. And the boar says it needs to be fierce, but it can also be compassionate. You can use kind words in a fierce way, in an unequivocal way. I will not let you do this to yourself. I will not let you continue this behavior because it's hurting people and it's hurting you. That's ferocious compassion, right? So looking at in your life where you need to bring the energy of ferocity in order for things to be better for everyone. It doesn't mean being mean. Saying no doesn't mean you're being mean. So ferocity also has to do with boundaries. You can be fierce about setting your boundaries and kind and compassionate at the same time. Okay, what was Swan about again? Grace under pressure and serenity. Okay. Do we have drums? Are we still drumming? It got awfully quiet. You know what? Wow. I updated my iTunes and I shouldn't have, because it's pissing me off. It's like, how many times do I have to sign into the store when I'm not in the store? It's fucked up. I need to find out where I can get an older version. Anyway, we have harvest, serenity under fire. All right. Accomplish. Okay, so we've got accomplishment on one side and grace under fire and serenity on the other side, but it's coming upside down. So this can talk about losing your cool. Grace under fire upside down says you don't need to lose your cool, because how you put things out, you will harvest. What you put out there is going to come back around. So we need to look at the question of ferocity, and what that really is talking about the quality of the energy that we're putting out. That is intense energy. But if we need to put it out in a way that doesn't completely blow our cool, because that's going to come back to us. And here we have romance and originality with Taliesin. And again, he's talking to me about a new story that we can tell. That it really needs to be a new story that supports our family, that supports everyone, that nourishes everyone. And that brings a new start. So again, on a personal level, really looking at what do I and mine need. My daughter and I were having a conversation today about the fears that come up. You know, the fears that come up around success, around having a home to live in, what if, you know, the what ifs that come up. And God, you know, I've lived with what ifs my entire life, and those kind of fears, you know, they got installed early. And I said, you know, the fears that I'm always like, you know, what are Dad and I going to do? And I said, you know, I know we will never be out on the street. I know that. You know, because I know my daughter is there, but they have the same fears. And the way I speak back to those fears is by saying that I have too good a brain for now, too many friends and people that care about me, too many skills and resources to be out and dying in the street, you know. So you can remind yourself of that you yourself personally have the skills that you need to keep it together. And like I said, if you look at what's going on in Ukraine and you think about what would I do under those circumstances, well, think about it in detail. And that is a skill that can help you, you know, get your go bag together or a bin or whatever. What would I do? Well, think about those things in practical terms. And shore yourself up in that way. There's that Nine of Pentacles from the Sacred Circle deck. Shore yourself up, your resources, your family. Look at a new story that you can tell. If we weren't doing this and if we had to, you know, make a decision, what would we do? And let yourself create that story. Look at the accomplishments you've had. What can I do with these to carry it forward if circumstances change drastically? All right. But at the end here, this new start, clearing the ground. And you know what I want to do? I want to start with this clearing the ground and go from there. There's the crow. A new start. There's one. Clearing the ground. What do we need to know about this new start in spring? On a personal level, you know, more down to earth, more down to home, and a personal level, what do we need to know? We have, I flipped that way, so I'm turning it. We have brooch, joining, building bridges, bringing together. It's hard to read. And then here we have the hearth fire again. Okay. So for the change of seasons, for the spring coming up, our new start is about coming together with your family, with the people that you love. And I also want to say, I saw an article today, you guys have heard me since like January saying I feel like there's going to be another surge of COVID in March. Well, they are saying that Europe is now experiencing a surge of a subvariant of Omicron. It's called like BA2 or something like that. And it seems to be more transmissible than the first variant of Omicron. So we, again, shore up, do not let go of those pandemic skills that you've learned. Keep yourselves healthy. But we can really start to get together with our families. So how do we want to kick off the new season with our families? with strengthening our bonds. What was it, the first, I think it was the Daughters of the Moon deck. Yeah, Three of Cups said bonding. So bonding was a theme at the very beginning here. It's time to strengthen our own bonds on a personal level. On a global level, we are strengthening alliances and strengthening those bonds. But sharing food with family, and not just, making dinner and inviting people over, but sharing food. My daughter was talking about having a membership to Costco. And I'm like, first of all, you got to have extra money to go buy those big amounts of things. And then you got to have a place to store it. And she's like, no, Mom, I'll go. I don't want, I'm buying big amounts. I'll give you half. How can we share resources with each other? Shore up our bonds with our families. Let's start sharing resources now on a personal level. On a personal level. So we can start moving forward without sort of waiting for the governments to do it for us and, the big structure to decide. We start changing from the grassroots, from the bottom up. We start changing from individuals up. Okay, let's see. I'm catching up here. Narcissists love dictator energy. Yes, they do. And yes, they are weak. Arrogance is a sign of weakness. Arrogance comes from low self-esteem. Pride and really good, healthy self-esteem, when you have people that have a healthy self-esteem, they're not arrogant, they're humble. Because they don't have to be arrogant. They're not defensive about their pride. Arrogance is defensiveness about my self-esteem and pride because I don't have any. So I have to defend myself. And I do that by coming out with, I'm the greatest and the best. When you know that you have flaws and weaknesses and you're human, and yet you have good self-esteem and you care about yourself and you love yourself, there's no need for arrogance. Okay. Each soul gets confronted with this and individually chooses how to respond. Absolutely. Okay. Transition into or out of. Saying, stay with being graceful under fire, but you can fuel it with ferocity. Okay. That's wonderful, Samantha. Thank you. No, COVID is not through with us yet. And let's see what we got here. The sea, travel, exploration. This came up like this. So we're not, it's really moving forward, but it's almost reversed. So travel isn't a big thing. That's coming up reversed. Harp, leisure, creativity, artistry. All right. So, and the hawk. The crow and the hawk. Flexibility, mental agility. Ooh, I like this. All right, so where are we traveling to? Traveling to flexibility. And here, hearth, fire, family support, and nourishment, and harp. I'm going to turn this up. Sorry, I'm not doing reverses here. This talks about getting together for not just nourishment of the body, sharing those resources, but nourishment of the soul too. And St. Patrick's Day, what it's about for us is Irish music. Music and food. And that's what we're doing tomorrow, music and food. So this is talking about strengthening bonds, joining together, and traveling forward creatively, traveling forward in a personal way with how we are with each other. This is how we begin the change into spring, is just really strengthening those bonds of family, having beautiful times with the people that we care about, whether it's a big family or one person that we get together with, bringing joy into life while everything is breaking down, all hell is breaking loose, while we are still able to have those joyful times. It's almost like I feel it's our duty to have those times and celebrate beauty, celebrate joy in that way. Yeah, in line with the Neptune energy, so many people think it's over. Well, they've thought it was over from the beginning. They've thought it was fake news. Again, as I've been saying from the beginning, there's nothing you can do about them. Shore up your own boundaries, move past. Move on past them. We have to stop giving those toddlers the attention that they're seeking. You have to stop paying them. You know, the payoff for narcissists is attention, and we need to stop giving them attention. How much different would the news look if we didn't give Marjorie Taylor Greene the attention that she craves? Sorry. Okay, let's see here. A lot going out to bars tomorrow. That will be interesting. And, you know, who knows if this new, I'm sure the new variant is here, but, you know, we'll see. We've been down this road before. It's old hat. Yeah, whatever. You do your thing. We'll do our thing. Yep, a frightened bully. Absolutely. Yeah, did you hear how he's changing his tune? How he is kind of justifying and pivoting himself around now because he's seeing the way the wind's blowing against Putin. So now he's going, oh, he's really changed. He's changed so much. No, he hasn't, Donald. He hasn't. He's behaving exactly the way you wanted to behave. Okay. Saw a hawk twice today. Yep, we saw one taking my daughter home. It was sitting on a pole that was right across the road, right in the middle of the road. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will cause a surge in COVID. All right. Meantime, focus on being faithfully playful. Yes, not fearfully petrified. That's wonderful. I know it's frustrating how stupid people are, and there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it except stop giving them press and stop regarding their crazy ideas with equal weight as people that are educated and sensible and compassionate. Stop giving them the payoff. That's all there is to it. Yeah, Putin changed. Oh, he's changed so much. I don't like him anymore. He's changed. Yep, sorry, Donnie. Unevolved, absolutely. Absolutely, Tavia. And, you know, the people that are not taking COVID seriously are losing their ticket on the bus, right? Off the planet. Try again next time. But remember, please, that those people, too, when they exit this planet, and Putin too, when he exits this planet, first of all, the thing that I feel is that moment when the veil lifts and you go, oh my God, I get it. Suddenly you understand. That right there is hell. That split second of it, everything coming in and feeling the full impact of the choices I've made and how I spent my life. And then even Putin, even all of these people are enfolded by their team and told, well done. You've done a good job. Now let's go talk about it. Now let's go explore this. Let's go back to school. Right? We all have the same capacity for Buddha mind. We are all working out our karma equally. So, and yes, another lifetime to try again. And if you believe in transmigration, maybe he comes back as a fucking bug. I don't know. But I think he would have, I don't know. Who knows? I don't even want to go down that road. But anyway, I think that we need to look forward to spring. We need to look forward to this change, to this full moon coming up, this energy culminating. Do your rituals, celebrate, you know, bring people into your home that you trust and you know are being as safe as you are. There's also talk of another booster for people 65 and older. I'm not there yet, but my husband is, and that's a good thing. So, anyhow, I think that's it. Is there anything left? Does anybody have another question that you want? And I have the deck of character next to me here. What do you think? Deck of character? All right. Here we go. Yeah, the ego absolutely falls apart. That's the veil. The veil is this illusion that I am separate, and this identity, my physical form, my personality is the eternal thing. It's not. It's the clothing that we wear. It's the filter. It's the shield. Holy crap. These things are falling out all over the place. All right. Okay. Let's just do one more here. I'm going to do a line of 5. Just give me, and what I need a question. I have to have a question with here. All right, Putin. We're going to go to Putin because that's the man of the hour, right? We're going to go to Putin. Putin and The Hague. Putin and war crimes. Putin and his karma. Putin. Let's look at the next week. We've got stuff flipping out all over the place. Okay, here's 5. I'm just putting them in random order here. Look at the candle in the middle. Oh, you guys, look. Can you see? What does that candle in the middle tell you? Enlightenment. Enlightenment. The light comes on. Maze. War. He's caught. He's caught in this trap of war. He doesn't know how to get out. He doesn't have a path out. So I think, whatever path is offered to him is not going to be the one he wants, but he's trapped. The maze says he's trapped. He's just going round and round. He's not going forward. He's going round and round in this war. No progress. And then we have the candle. Ding! Maybe there is a little light going on of, oh shit, I'm in trouble. Oh shit, I'm in deeper than I thought I was going to be. Oh shit, I'm stuck. Right? But then what happens on the way out here? A cauldron. He lands in hot water. He is in hot, hot water because he has awakened the sleeping dragon and the kraken. Yeah? Yes, I'm glad I grabbed this deck. I want 5 more. We're going off the top. The self. There's the ego. Rainbow. Okay, here's the other side. Dust. Camouflage. It's stereo. Okay, this is interesting. So, going to the center, candle and dust. The dust can talk about cleanup. There's a lot of cleanup. He's made a mess. The dust is settling. The maze. Okay. Yes, the self, he's trapped in this maze of his own ego as well. And then we've got dragon and stereo. So the ferocity and the blowback is coming from both sides. It's coming from the country he's invading. It's also coming from his own country. That's what I get from stereo. It's coming from both sides. So he's trapped because he's trapped in this maze. He's all self-involved. The dragon has awakened. It's coming at him from both sides. Then we've got the war and the rainbow. So there is still hope. Camouflage talks about him wanting to hide. Look at war and camouflage. This can also talk about wanting to make it into something that it's not. Putting a different set of clothing on it. And I'm looking at how things night here. So war, knighting over to camouflage. It's like, yeah, he needs to duck and cover and hide from this thing. So maybe we look at where he's at and he's hiding from things. Or trying to spin it in a different way. That can be the propaganda that's going out about the war. Cauldron and rainbow. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Something's cooking. I mean, the rainbow to me in the middle of all of this says that there is hope. There is hope still. Then we look at these triangles that night. Maze, dust, dragon. So he's caught in this quagmire. The mess needs to be cleaned up. And dust, too, can talk about the Neptunian thing of you can't see things. Things are covered. You can't see things clearly. And then that's unleashing the Kraken. He unleashed the dragon. Then we have the self, candle, and stereo. Ooh! So maybe there's a little glimmer in his head that says, maybe I did the wrong thing. Maybe it's not about me. I mean, he can't. He's a malignant narcissist. But the self-involvement, there's a light coming on somewhere. There's no doubt about that. And the stereo just says it because it's coming at him from both sides. He can't duck. He can't duck it anymore. Okay. I'm happy. All right. Messages here. Let me see. I love the engagement tonight, you guys. I absolutely love it. Not sure if I buy into the punishment by coming back. Yeah, I don't do transmigration either. I don't know what happens. We'll see. Some people come in specifically to do. Yeah. I mean, it's all karma. It's all karma. And there are no specifics like that on the other side. It's just all energies. It's when we come down through the ego into a body that these things become possible. He comes in like anybody else. I've got karma to work out, and then choices get made. But that ego and the karma that you went through last night has a magnetic quality that draws you into situations where you're going to be confronted with the karma that you have to clear. Okay, and sometimes we have reaping incarnations and sometimes it's sowing incarnations. He's certainly sowing a lot of karma. Okay, do they even get bad karma? No, it isn't something we can fully understand here, that's for sure. That's, we're behind the veil here. Yep. Okay, trying to spread more propaganda, looking desperately for support. Yep, absolutely. Rainbow is delusional. That's great. That's perfect, Jake. I agree. Which would be he's trying to camouflage, but the lies are not triumphing anymore. Wonderful. Yes, wonderful, you guys. Isn't this deck amazing? That is also true. The rainbow could signify it's a spirit-driven situation. Yes, it is serving a greater purpose. Absolutely. All right, you guys. I'm going to let you go now. I'm going to let you good people get off and take off and go on with your evenings here. Thank you again so much. If you love this, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the donation button, buy me some more coffee down below, hit the Amazon wish list, buy me a deck. I'm still working through my decks that I have sitting over here. I shouldn't need to buy any new ones for a few months, but you can always buy me one. I won't say no. I will not say no, and I will read for you. So, yes, he is reaping karma. Absolutely, Callum. All right, you guys. I love you so much. I really do. I love you so. Things are getting better. The warm weather's coming. Seasons are changing. Change is constant. Have hope. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your families. Enjoy, find whatever enjoyment and beauty in your life you can, right? And learn how to sit in the void, sit in the uncertainty, and find that peace inside yourself. And however you're managing to do it is okay. It's okay. All right? Okay, you guys. Take care. I will see you next time. It has been a fun night. Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Marcy. Thank you, Kella. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Davia. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you, everybody. I will see you next time. Blessed be.